for your service and great sacrifice. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Men, 40% of us over 40 experience ED, but the blue pill isn't your only option. And ladies, are you living with bladder leaks? At Thrive Alternative Medicine, they're introducing the Umcella Chair, a non-invasive FDA-approved treatment for urinary incontinence and sexual wellness. It's simple. Sit in the chair, fully clothed for 28 minutes. The Umcella Chair uses high-frequency energy to stimulate your pelvic floor muscles. Patients report better sexual satisfaction and improved bladder control. Call Thrive Alternative Medicine, 850-655-7090.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia and supplies, new and vintage cards, and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory, or visit online, InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
It's time to take your season to the next level when the Jaguars return to the bank in 2026. Become a season ticket member and unlock exclusive access to ticketed events, members-only experiences, NFL membership club perks, and more. Availability is limited due to in-bowl renovations, so don't wait. Call 904-633-2000 or visit jaguars.com/season tickets to secure your spot at the center of the action. We'll see you at the bank this fall.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops build specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Donate today at hfotusa.org.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVOQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida. Rise and shine, campers. It's a brand new day.
What a lovely morning.
Good morning, starshine.
You seem happy this morning.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in early.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local. Live from the J. Michaels Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Oh, Lord. Glenn's in a Speedo.
Look out.
Yeah! Yeah!
Yeah!
Get in!
Yeah!
Well, indeed. You couldn't expect him to do a whole week, could you?
No, heck no. So, and he communicated so well. So we
obviously, Brian Haddad sitting in for Coach Hale here. I'll actually be in the rest of the week here. Coach had a little procedure done here. You know, that type of thing is now okay. So,
well, yeah, it's going to be an awesome back piece when he gets back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a great tattoo that he's got.
Well, I thought you were talking about his transition, but anyway, we'll save that for next week. But as always on a Wednesday, joined by my partner in crime, Dr. Glenn Manley. How we doing there?
I'm doing good. Every time I hear that hot tub song, you got to say TGIF, toes going first, to make sure that.
Isn't that the truth? James, what's up, buddy?
Nah, we are just hanging out here on a beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning, guys.
It is beautiful, and you know why it's beautiful? Because we've decided to go on and move up our normal Wednesday call here. Of course, Wednesday is Bay Day, right, Glenn?
That's correct.
It is Bay Day here, and why not go over and talk to the man himself? I apologize if you've been setting your clock to do this at 7:15. We got to do it a little bit early today, but we're always pleased when we can talk.
We're going to take in another Bay school
That's right. That's right. See, it fits the theme. But right now, we got to get over and talk to Coach Jeremy Brown of the Bay Tornadoes. Coach, how we doing this morning?
I'm good, guys. How you doing this morning?
We're doing really well.
Doing great.
Appreciate your swapping around there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Yeah, Coach, I didn't. I tried to follow your video, but on the game the other night, but I got to go see the Geek Factory. In and out with my Wi-Fi and all that. So tell us what went on.
Yeah, it was a real competitive game. We we came up short, lost 38-34. Coach Teese and those guys, man, they do a really good job. And it's a real competitive game. Both teams, got a lot of reps, got a lot of kids in the game, a lot of kids reps. Offensively, we had two pick sixes early in the game that kind of had us playing from behind, and we fumbled once inside the 20, inside our own 20, and so gave them a short field. So, we felt like at the end of the day, if you take those, if you just take one of those away, we got a chance to win the game. But we thought our kids kept playing hard and kept battling, got back in the game, and so Mace played really well at quarterback. He had those two kind of fluke plays. One of the balls were tipped. Just kind of fluke kind of things. But it was first game playing quarterback. We thought he did a really good job. He threw four touchdown passes. That was really good for him. And we ran the ball pretty well defensively. We felt like we played pretty good defense. We felt like they really only gave up 21 points, after the two picks and the fumble. So overall we thought it was a successful spring. There were some things, games within the game that we things we wanted to get better at this spring that didn't really involve the scoreboard, and we felt like we got better at those things. So we're excited about where we are going into the summer.
Did you set Davenport out because of his knee, right?
Yeah, we actually had six starters out for the game. A couple of guys had off season. DJ and JoJo had off season knee surgeries. John was out. He hurt his elbow early in the spring, so we set him. And then we had two other linemen that were out as well.
Yeah. So how did Clement do?
Yeah, Noah played. He had only been back a couple of weeks after baseball, and he did really well. He was 100% on his field goals, kicked the ball, punted the ball really well. A couple of times we had to punt. There was no rush, but for him to get out there and missing the first part of spring because of baseball, and I think he had 3 catches, but he had a really good game.
Good. I'm glad he's catching, but that not kicking the ball that often is really got to catch up with that too. So good to hear about that. Yeah.
Yeah, they we felt like offensively moving Daryl Andrews and Caden Brown over to the offensive side of the ball really helped us out a lot. They both had some explosive plays. They're going to be tough to deal with after a whole another summer and fall camp. Defensively, we thought the back half of our defense did what we wanted them to do, which was not give up big plays, and we did a pretty good job of that. We got to get better. We got to get better at stopping the run, and but we had some young guys. Our front seven only had one returning starter in our front seven, and so those guys they'll continue to get better.
Coach, looking back now, you can kind of look back at the spring here at this point, but looking back at it, what would you say was kind of a nice positive surprise that you saw in the spring that maybe you were a little further along than you thought, and what's maybe one thing you might need to work on harder in the summer than you thought coming into the spring?
Yeah, we thought, we thought going into the spring, that we thought our offensive line had a chance to be pretty good, and they were exactly who we thought they would be Friday night. They did a great job controlling the line of scrimmage, and we knocked people off the ball, which was good. There were a couple of, in the spring there's always some surprises. Obviously, we talked about, Caden and Daryl on the offensive side of the ball. They didn't play any offense for us last year, and they were as good as we thought they were going to be. Friday night. At running back, all 3 of our running backs ran the ball well. Jamarlin Huntley, Caden Turner, and Melvin Mons. all those guys ran the ball well. I think the one area that, I don't know that I would, I think we just, that we kind of knew going into the game that, we might struggle, that we need to get better at was, up front on the defensive line. We got to do a better job of getting our hands on guys and not getting washed and knocked off the ball, not running upfield, stuff like that. But, we had a bunch of new guys in there. We did get some guys some reps, and so we've got some, like you said, we've got some film now to watch. We got some game footage to, really coach off of. So we're excited about, getting to seeing where those guys are, in the fall as compared to where they were last Friday night.
Yeah, how much, and I know you've done this a long time and at a very high level, so you have your plans set in, but how much do you maybe adjust your summer, plan a little bit based on what you saw this spring?
Yeah, our biggest goal in the summer is, our number one priority in the summer is just continuing to get stronger, lifting in the weight room, and then, you add in that component of, the outside stuff, just making sure they're in, tip-top shape, that they can play 4 quarters, 5 quarters, 6 quarters if you need them to in a regular season game, you know what I mean? I think the football part of it, you go back after the spring, and, just like you do in the fall, after the fall, where you wind up in the fall kind of steers what you're working on in the off season, and then after the spring game will kind of steer and dictate, what we really have to work on in the summer. And we're actually having a defensive staff meeting today, then an offensive staff meeting tomorrow. And that's what we're going to talk about is today defensively. Okay, guys, going into the summer with the 7-on-7 circuit. What do we want to install? What do we want to work on the offensive side of the ball? What defense, I think the main thing after the spring is you start looking at those, you start talking about personnel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, what guys were, if we got a guy that, was a receiver, but he didn't, he's going to be a fifth string receiver, but he can start on defense. Let's make the move now. You know what I mean? Let's build our depth, that way. So I think after the spring it's more personnel driven than it is, necessarily than it is scheme driven.
Yeah, Coach. When can your freshmen show up that they're coming from, say, Jinx or wherever you? Is it after the last day of school, or is it has to be at a certain time in June?
No, it's after the last day of school. We'll start. We're going to start our summer program June the 8th, and so we're looking forward to having all those guys in the weight room and on the field, and you know what I mean. That at that time, so we can start getting to know them, building a relationship with them, and getting them ready for the JV season in the fall.
Yeah, I don't think they really understand. A lot of times when we used to do it a long time ago, trying to get the 8th graders over there because it was summer for them. They never had to do this before, so try to get them herd in and get them acclimated. And then they walk in there and some guy's lifting 400 pounds and they're trying to lift a bar. It's a little intimidating.
Yeah, it is. One of the things I started doing this years ago was, we split we work out at the same time, but we're never in the weight room at the same time. So we'll have all of our older guys in the weight room with our incoming freshmen to be doing their outside stuff, and then we'll switch. And that's one of the reasons why we don't want a kid to come in there and get intimidated, get embarrassed, and start saying, "Oh, I don't know if I can do this." We want them to all those incoming freshmen to start on the same plane, the same level. You know what I mean? And and now getting them up there is it's still a challenge, but probably not as big of a challenge as it used to be, just because of social media and cell phones, and all these kids know each other, and so we're able to kind of get the information out. But yeah, man, we're excited about Coach Holes has done a great job, especially down at Jinx. That's kind of our feeder school, I guess you could say that. But he's done a great job down there, and for the last 4 years we've gotten some really good football players from there, and we're hoping that this year's the same way.
That's good. I know, you remember the tiny weight room we had, so we had to herd them all in there. But so
yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
We were bumping shoulders with everybody.
Glenn did that on purpose so he wouldn't feel small.
I've always felt small.
Coach Brown, I've always wanted to ask, football coaches this, and I don't wish this on anybody, but if you were in charge of the FHSAA for one day, God forbid that thought, but if there was one thing you could change about the current way that spring football is done, what would that be?
I think the one thing I would change is the acclimation period. I think you basically, you get 20 days, but you're almost wasted the first week is almost wasted because, you got to go 2 days in shorts and helmets and 2 or 3 days in pads. I don't think what the people understand is that, we're acclimated. The kids are acclimated to the heat because we've been outside doing 7-on-7. We've been outside doing O-line field work. They've been outside, running the ladders, doing speed and conditioning. They've been doing that stuff since January. And it's kind of the same thing in the summer. You know what I mean? I mean, you waste the first week of fall camp because of the acclimation period. Where in Florida, the way the rules are, we're outside with the kids all summer anyway. You know what I mean? And I know like this year we're going over to Mosley, like July the 21st for a padded camp, and so we'll do an acclimation period before that. We'll go do that camp. And then that following week, when fall camp starts, guess what? We got to do the acclimation period again. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit. It's just a little bit overkill. I think if people would step back and realize, like, hey, these guys are already. We have them year round. They're already outside. They're already in the heat. You know what I mean? That we could turn around and save some. Be a little bit more efficient with the time, I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah. What are you talking about? The sun only comes out in Florida in April, right? I mean,
so it's kind of
you're getting your water,
kind of a crazy deal.
You get your water break in November when you need a jacket. I love it.
That's right. Great, Coach. I've always wanted to know that because obviously, y'all are the guys who understand, and I wish they would take y'all's input a lot more seriously. But that's a fight we'll have to fight another day. That's for sure.
Yeah, me too. And then the next thing I would do is I'd change that daggum knee pad rule, man, that they make the kids pull their pants down over their knees. You can't find any research throughout the history of football that a kid hurt his knee because he didn't have his knees covered with knee pads. None of the kids they never wear knee pads in practice, and they, the colleges and NFL teams don't wear them. It's just kind of we're so worried about the kids covering up their knees, we can't call holding and blocking in the back.
That's right.
Oh my God! I think I opened a can of worms here. We could do a whole segment on this. Well, Coach, great talking with you. We'll let you off the hook on that. We'll save that for next week. But congratulations on a successful spring there, and good luck going forward into the summer workouts.
All right, we appreciate it, and let Coach Bernard know, man, on behalf of Bay High, that we say good luck in the state championship game today. Bring that thing back to Bay County.
Yes, sir. We certainly will.
Thank you.
The great Coach Jeremy Brown of the Bay High Tornadoes. I love that insight, and that's something I definitely want to delve into deeper.
Well, yeah, but they don't listen to. I don't even think they know where Northwest Florida is.
No, of course not. Of course not. Well, let's talk real. Here's something they should know about here. J. Michael's, because today, Glenn. World famous J. Michael Spaghetti Day. You can always go in there and get the best seafood. You can always get the coldest beer, but on Wednesday only, Dino's back there firing up the kitchen. He gets that special sauce going. It is J. Michael Spaghetti Day. You need to get out there, tell them you heard about it right here at the Coach James Hale Show.
I got a brand new scuba mask to wear this day.
So absolutely.
Up those
we're going to head to a break so we can spend a little more time with Coach Bernard. North Bay Haven softball, they are down in the Final Four, and we're going to talk to them about that. See if we can't get another ring up here in Northwest Florida. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
While other radio stations are playing national contests with winners in Timbuktu, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida has real local winners.
Hi, this is Dave Neat from Panama City Beach.
Bona fide and certified local.
Man, that's fantastic. Oh, my goodness.
Keep listening to Win on the Gulf Coast.
Hell yeah. Let's do it. I just won $250 from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Anna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, a likelihood of thunderstorms and some sun, and a high of 85 with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour out of the south. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high around 85. For Friday, some sun and a high of 83. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
This is Patrick with Turf Pro Pest Control. Do you want a great-looking lawn? Call Turf Pro. We will come out to your property and make a customized plan for your lawn. Then we will do the most important part, execute that plan. Turf Pro is a locally owned and operated company. We take pride in making your lawn beautiful. Call Turf Pro. You will love your lawn. The blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Find us on Facebook at Turf Pro PC.
Now, it's time for your Atlanta Braves Morning Update, presented by Tidal Wave Auto Spa. Get clean car happy at any of the 250-plus Tidal Wave Auto Spa locations today.
Braves come back to take Game 2. I'm Barrett Salee, and this is your Braves Radio Network Morning Update.
Tidal Wave Auto Spa is the official car wash of the Atlanta Braves and your go-to car wash destination all season long. Visit TidalWaveAutoSpa.com to find a location nearest you.
Braves dug themselves into a 4-2 hole in the bottom of the third, but that is when the comeback started. Matt Olson with a double. Michael Harris II tied it up with a home run in the 6th, and then the Braves put on a show in the 8th and the 9th. How about Mauricio Dubon, the big blow? He had an RBI in the top of the 8th to make it 5-4, and the Braves took it from there. Martin Perez, how about it? A career-high 10 strikeouts as he goes 5 strong. Dylan Lee gets the win in relief. He went 1 1/3. Didn't give up an earned run and struck out 2. Game 3 as the Braves look to stay hot. Coming up tonight, Jansen Junk gets the ball for the Marlins. He is 2-4 as a 4.14 ERA. Chris Sale going for the Braves. Of course, he of the 1.96 ERA. Ford leadoff show at 5:25. First pitch from Lone Depot Park, 6:40 with Ben and Joe. You can hear all of it on the Braves Radio Network.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
Lots of force on this one. Hello, Chop House. A 2-run homer.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back.
We are back.
It is Bay Day, so we're going to have another Bay team.
Yes, we're staying with the theme. It is Bay Day. I'm even rocking, the blue here, for the Bucks here. The North Bay Haven Bay Day
There you go.
on Wednesday. But we're going to head down to the Final Four of the 2A FHSA softball championships here, and we're going to talk to Coach Bernard of North Bay Haven. Coach, how are we doing this morning?
Man, we're living life in a postcard. Wish you were here.
Well, we know they don't know where Northwest Florida is, but tell us exactly where you are down there in the state.
We're in Longwood, which is pretty close to the Orlando area.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Sanford, that area.
Yeah. Coach, not to take this short, but tell us about the process, how you got to the Final Four, because you've been building this for a couple of years.
You talking about for the season, or
just for how you done with the team, that those girls that are seniors now, how they came in and those kind of things, and then you can talk quickly about your season and then the tournament. But I just think people know the process you've been through the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're one of the 3 fortunate teams in Bay County that are able to, play middle school kids at the high school level. So, over the years, we've been taking some of the middle school talent and, developing them and taking them to different stages throughout, their skill set. And, some of them's been able to jump right on into the varsity level, and others are kind of trusting the process and they're in the JV level. And, we're hoping to get a middle school team started next year. So it's, we got 35 kids on the roster, and they're all kind of bought in right now to what they have to do. And So it's just a process of developing kids and getting the most out of them.
Well, you've done a great job of getting rid of bowls and some of those other schools. You may be the only person that has public school kids in down there.
Yeah.
I keep looking at all these names: Oxbridge, something Academy, and all Calvary.
Yeah, and they got a lot of financial backing behind them. So it's an honor to be here.
It is. What can we do out here if we want to make sure? Because it costs you money to go. So is there any way? How do we donate to you if we want to get something to you?
I'll reach out to you because I really have not asked for any support from the community. I've had a couple people reach out and send me a little bit of money. This trip for us is about a $25,000 trip that we've funded out of our program right this minute. I haven't asked the school to help with anything yet. It's just kind of play it, see what happens, and then see what money we're left over with. And so right now we just need your support.
Well, you got it. Coach Brown said he wanted all the Bay High wants, of course me too, that want to congratulate you where you are, and hopefully you keep going. So
yeah,
talk about the season. You have one young lady that's going to sign with FSU, I believe.
Yes, sir. Now she's not been able to participate this season because she had a season-ending injury playing her second to the last game of high school basketball.
Oh my goodness!
So that's a lot of offensive production that's been taken away from the very beginning. But we found out early her situation, and I like to put a lot of quotes on the, hanging in our dugout of things that different people around the community have said, or even our own team. And there was one quote where a lot of our players right after that game had said, we'll be back, we're going to take it all next year, and this kind of stuff. And that's good stuff to say, but it's hard to do. And right after we found out Good Pastor's situation, I kind of got him in. I think we just had started in January, somewhere like that. And I said, "Look, hey, do we still believe this, or do we stand on this? This is what we said. This is what's going to happen?" And so, yeah, they all bought in, and you see where we're at now. So it's been a good ride.
Yeah, Coach, talk a little bit about your opponent here in the game today. This Cornerstone Charter Academy looks like they're in the kind of middle of Florida area there. What do you know about them? It looks like records are very similar, and what do you expect in the game?
Yeah, so it's a home game for them. Mm-hmm. They're probably 20 minutes away from where we're playing. Good team. Like you said, you kind of go through stats. We are better in some areas. They're better in other areas. I was able to watch a good bit of their last game last night, and I really like how we match up. If we do the things we've been doing all year, plate discipline, playing good defense, pitcher does her job, I like the outcome of it.
Well, good. Yes, good. I know you don't want to look ahead, but then.
No, sir.
I know. One at a time. I understand that. So, were you able to practice coming down there, or just practice when you got there? I didn't know exactly when y'all left.
No. So this has truly been a business trip.
Uh-huh.
We Monday morning we had a 10 o'clock practice, and everything we've done has led up to this game.
Okay.
So we practiced, girls, had lunch, we loaded the bus, we got down here, got settled. Yesterday we had a early morning practice, then we had a afternoon batting practice, just trying to stay into a 3-day routine. Now, that'll all change tomorrow because if we're in that game, it's 5 o'clock, but that's about the time, that's our comfort zone. So, the girls are pumped, they're focused, and, I expect them to be ready.
I mean, it's hot all over Florida, but do you like the fact that, they put you guys in the, like, I guess the 1-4 game's going at 10 a.m. Eastern, and you guys go at 11:30. Do you like that, and that it gets you out of that heat or something? Because it seems like that's the only time all year you guys play at that time. Is that correct?
It is for us. I mean, we've been in a couple little 2-day tournaments this year where we've had a morning game here and there, but I don't know, man. I could give you pros and cons one way or the other. You just gotta play at the time. Now I can tell you it's a little bit cooler than it was last year. Mm-hmm. Last year we were playing the games at 6 o'clock, 7:30, and it was 96 degrees, and that was torture. I think high of the days like 89, 90. So it's comforting.
Well, while we got you here, Coach, why don't you shout out some of your seniors for us here who've been so instrumental in building this with North Bay Hale?
Yeah, so of course we got the big star, Kaylee Goodpaster. She's the Florida State signee, and then Alan Brady is the senior. She plays a little middle infield, pitches for us. She's University of West Florida signee. Other senior is Callie Stokes. She's a left fielder. She's not going to continue her softball career. She's going on to do big girl stuff, Mm-hmm. So we got the 3, and we got graduation tonight. So even a win or loss, either way, we still got some decisions to make on what's going on with their future tonight. So just keep us in your prayers. And
right,
absolutely. I do have to ask you one question, Coach, because I know baseball and softball are always aware of each other, and after what South Walton did, tell me you've practiced that suicide squeeze.
Yes, and look, I'm a superstitious guy. I'm sure a lot of people on this phone or on this call are superstitious. So interesting enough, we had 2 drivers that brought us down, and it all had to do with hours that they had booked. Mm-hmm. So the one that brought us to Tallahassee was the driver that took South Walton to the state championship.
I love
it. The one we picked up in Tallahassee that has been with us the whole time is a driver that took Northwest Florida softball team to their region championship, and they'll be going to Oxford. I guess it's Oxford, Mississippi next week. So. It's definitely a championship mindset, and we just hope it brings good vibes.
See, that's the attention to detail right there, Coach. I absolutely love it. Well, good luck today. Yep. Hoping for a big win, hoping to talk to you again here very soon, and let's go get them.
I appreciate the call, appreciate the support.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Coach Bernard, North Bay Haven, going for a state title.
Y'all elect Glenn Manley, buddy. We need him.
Hey, I like it. I like it. All right. Well, thank you, Coach. And yeah.
Yeah, he's, always what a class act he is. And I've known him for quite a while. So, he's been around since I was chasing Andy Siegel around the football field. So, congratulations
I'd pay
to him.
To see that.
What a great guy he is.
Absolutely right. Look, we went long on that. I'm going to get all of our sponsors in here over the next couple of breaks, because we got so many of them, and they are fantastic. But
absolutely,
we got to go to a break because we're going to stay on the phone. We're going to talk to Dr. John Ward here coming up next. See what's going on in Gatorland.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Chris, hold on. Over your left shoulder, right, if you're watching on TV, can you explain that wall over there?
You got all my goats here, Paul. You got Dabo Swinney to go to college football. You got LeBron James to go to basketball. And then you got Paul Feinbaum, the GOAT of the radio.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
KLA Builders is a general contractor based in Panama City Beach, specializing in home remodeling, renovations, and custom projects. KLA Builders offers services like kitchen and bathroom remodels, deck construction, and full home renovations. With a focus on craftsmanship and personalized service for residential projects, KLA Builders is turning client visions into reality. For a free estimate, call KLA Builders, 850-960-5115. That's 850-960-5115.
This May, we honor the courage, sacrifice, and service of America's heroes. At Coin and Bullion Reserve's Fine Jewelry, we're proud to celebrate Military Appreciation Month with an additional 15% off any fine jewelry purchase for all active duty and veteran service men and women. Whether it's a service-inspired piece, a timeless gift, or something special to mark a milestone, thank you for protecting the freedoms we hold dear. Coin and Bullion Reserve's Fine Jewelry, proudly saluting those who serve.
For the A.
Here comes the throw. It's late. Braves win.
Your spot for the Atlanta Braves on the Gulf Coast. Listen live nights and weekends. This is Braves Country. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels Studio. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back into the Coach James Hale Show on a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. It is always Bay Day on Wednesday. We had a little double dose of Bay today, Glenn. We had Bay High football and, of course, North Bay Haven softball down at the Final Four. Playing today at 11:30, I believe, Eastern.
Yes.
10:30 our time against Cornerstone Academy there. So good luck to the Bucks down there. And as always on a Wednesday, we are joined by our good friend Dr. John Ward, dermatology specialist. Doc, how are we doing on this Wednesday morning?
Oh, it's a beautiful day. I know it's going to get hotter than all get out later, but beautiful morning.
It is.
Absolutely. Well, our Wednesday tradition here, I'm taking over the big chair. Coach Hale had a hangnail or something. Who knows what's going on? No, Coach is doing all right. But I got to hear about the Ward children. What's going on in the house? How's everybody doing?
Oh, it's all good. It's crazy as always. But the soccer season's winding down. That's done. We're getting more weekends to ourselves. But of course, summer baseball starting up with tournament this weekend in Panama City Beach, and then the following weekend in Santa Rosa Beach. So we're looking forward to it and hoping that it all goes well. And I did want to give a shout out to the South Walton Seahawks baseball team, state champions. They finally got it done, and in incredibly exciting fashion. They walked off the state championship game with a perfectly executed suicide squeeze in the bottom of the seventh to beat North Broward Prep 6-5. They didn't do it easy, but they won.
There you go. That's all that counts.
You know what I felt like, Doc? Baseball purists across the country were just thrilled with that, because that is a play you don't see enough, and that just goes to the level of coaching that's done over there, that you're ready for every eventuality, and when it comes up, you take the opportunity. And I got to say this, I knew about it, obviously I'd watched, but I was scrolling through Fox News one of those days, and I'm going down, and it's like, high school baseball team wins state championship in amazing fashion, and I'll click on this, and sure enough, it was the South Walton things. They made the Fox News front page. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, and that's really where experience in playoff baseball pays off, because a couple of times in their unsuccessful runs to win the title, they got burned by small ball and well executed baseball. So I think Coach Borthwick saw it happen to them a couple of times, and then was like, hey, this works sometimes, let's do it.
Yeah, there you go. No, it's fantastic. It was unbelievable game and an unbelievable season. So absolutely congrats to them. Hopefully we can add another here in the next couple of days with North Bay Haven. All right, Doc, let's talk a little Florida baseball. So they're coming off, you know, if you'd have looked at the schedule at the beginning of the season, ending your year on the road at Baton Rouge would seem like a nasty penalty, and yet this wasn't the typical LSU team. Florida gets the sweep down there. They won their last 3 SEC series coming into the tournament. So as Jekyll and Hyde as they were early in the season, they're really starting to play their best baseball down the stretch. And now they get, I believe, Vanderbilt today, if I'm not mistaken, in the SEC tournament. What's your thoughts on these Gators here? I mean, they're going to make a regional for sure, but what's your thought about them going through this SEC tournament and into NCAA play?
Well, Florida has a lot to play for right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are projected anywhere from a top 8 seed in some projections to a 12 the 12 national seed. And
that's right.
You know, obviously the significance of that is where you get to play your super regional if you win the regional. So, you know, it's a huge advantage to be a top 8 seed because you don't leave your home field until you go to Omaha. So the Florida Gators have a lot to play for right now. You know, obviously Vanderbilt, the only way they're getting in is if they, you know, I've heard some people say if they make the SEC finals, they could get in.
They got to win.
But right now, they're out too.
I think they got to win it. Yeah.
But Vanderbilt burned their best arms to beat Kentucky. So you know we got SEC pitcher of the year Aiden King today on the bump, and they've got less arms. So you got to like Florida to get the job done against Vanderbilt, and then that sets up tomorrow. I think it'll be tomorrow, Florida, Alabama in Hoover, and I think that game is going to decide which SEC team between Florida and Alabama gets a top 8 seed.
I think you're right. I'm looking at Baseball America does like a bracketology kind of projection that's actually pretty neat, and currently they have Alabama as the 7 seed hosting. They have Texas A&M as the 8, and then they have Florida as the 9 hosting. And just in case anybody's wondering, right now the projection would be Florida as a 9. The number 2 seed in the Florida Regional would be Jacksonville State out of Conference USA. Virginia Tech out of the ACC would be the 3rd seed, and North Florida would be the 4 seed. So, yeah, but you're right. Getting into that top 8 seed's critical for if you're going to go deep.
And I do just need to let all the Florida State baseball fans know they better be rooting for Florida in the SEC tournament because Florida is in all of them projected to be right above Florida State.
That's right.
And the reason behind that is when teams are looked at together,
yes,
they always favor head-to-head. And since Florida swept Florida State, it's almost impossible at this point for Florida State to get seeded ahead of Florida. So if Florida State wants a top 8 seed, they better hope Florida gets to like 6 or 7 as a national seed. Otherwise, their chances of becoming a top 8 seed are almost 0.
What would be interesting is if somehow Florida ended up the 8 seed, Florida State the 9. And
I've seen that in a few projections.
Yeah, and the pencil pushers who were paying the bills would love that when it came to Super Regional instead of going to like Corvallis, Oregon, or something like that. So.
And even though Michael Alford is head of the selection committee, Scott Strickland's also on the selection committee. So you know, I think that's going to be that'll be kind of they will nullify each other's influence.
Might be a fight right there in the middle of the conference.
Well, Doc, I want to ask you something here that I was kind of looking. This came across one of my feeds, and it's surprising in some respects that it's only been this many. So since we've been in the playoff era, essentially since 2014, so now 12 years, there have been exactly 12 teams that have been ranked atop the CFP poll. So teams that have been ranked number 1. Of course, Alabama's been ranked the most. I have to get that in, being on the Coach James Hale Show. But I'm wondering if we can name all 12 of them. Some will be easy, some might be harder than you think. So I can tell you that 6 of the 12 are currently in the SEC. So, Doc, let's get it started. Let's see if we can name all 12 teams that have sat atop the CFP poll for at least 1 week since 2014.
Well, the 6 in the SEC should be pretty easy. It's Georgia, LSU.
Correct.
Since 2012, I think
2014. 2014.
Yeah. 2014.
Yeah.
Ooh. Texas has been number
Correct.
one. Let's see. I'm not 100% certain about the other SECs. So going to the Big Ten, you've got Ohio State and Michigan, who have both been ranked number one at one point in time. Indiana, obviously
correct.
this year. I think Clemson's been number one from the ACC.
They have, indeed. There is one more ACC school. There is one more Big Ten school. And I'll give you Alabama. So there will be 2 more SEC schools.
I'll let Coach Manley chime in.
All right.
Texas A&M.
Incorrect. I'm not going to do the buzzer.
Okay, good. Let's see. SEC team.
We have 2 more SEC, 1 Big Ten, and 1 ACC.
Right, so this is football, right?
Correct. Basket weaving.
Yeah.
So Ole Miss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, golly. You got Texas, got it.
So,
Oklahoma.
Incorrect. Not Oklahoma. James, what you got?
Did Oregon ever hit number 1?
Who?
Oregon.
Oregon is the final Big Ten
sure that's the Big
school.
10, yeah.
So
Okay.
we have
All
3
right.
left, an
All right.
ACC and 2 SEC.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss has not been number 1.
Wow.
But you know what? For 1 week, Mississippi State under Dan Mullen got to number 1.
Bingo. That's why I asked this question. That is correct. Mississippi State for 1 week. I think they actually were the first ever because that was, of course, the Dak Prescott year. So we have an ACC and an SEC. I can tell you the SEC one's tougher. I still don't know when it was, but it was there. The ACC one, we're all going to feel stupid if we don't get this.
Miami for the ACC.
Nope.
Golly, let's see here.
God, 2014 at Florida State.
That is correct.
14, okay.
Florida State.
It wasn't in 2014, but I know Florida State was there at one point.
That's right, because that was the year Oregon got them. But yes, they were number 1 in the poll. Last one, SEC school, guys.
Wow.
You don't think about them since 2014. You think about them before then.
Tennessee.
Tennessee is correct.
Okay.
Wow.
I've got to go back and find when. It had to have been early like that, but 1 week they were number 1. So kind of neat. We got through that better than I thought. I really thought Mississippi State would be the last one we get. I was going to have fun with that one, but of course, Doc, I can't get anything past Doc. So
I know. Sorry.
Well, you had to do with Dan Mullen. He came to coach at Florida.
There you go. There's the Florida tie.
There. Yeah.
Well, Doc, hang on the line with us. We're going to come back to you here in just a little bit here. I do want to get in some of our other sponsors. When we come back, I want to talk a lot about Doc Ward and dermatology specialists. But TK Vandy, Roofing and Contracting, Kyle Vandegrift and the crew do absolutely wonderful work for any kind of roofing needs you need, or just general contracting needs. You need to call the fine folks there at TK Vandy. I think Kyle's going to be in with us on Friday, so looking forward to that. If you're out in Lynn Haven, David Adamson Fine Jewelry. Look, they can make a piece for you. They can fix old jewelry. You want to go sell gold, silver, everything like that. You need to get out there to Lynn Haven and see the fine folks at David Adamson Fine Jewelry. And look, while you're out there in Lynn Haven, you've gotten a nice piece of jewelry you want to celebrate, get on over and see Pat Perno and the crew at Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. They have a wonderful wing special today that you don't want to miss. That is Beef O'Brady's, Glenn, in Lynn Haven. We come back, more with Dr. John Ward. We're going to fix college football coming up right next.
Weather in the Panhandle never stops. return to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
We're up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Hurricane Helene.
And breaking weather as it happens.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
This is Anna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, a likelihood of thunderstorms and some sun, and a high of 85 with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour out of the south. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high around 85. For Friday, some sun and a high of 83. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Los Rancheros has been doing it right for 20 years. Los Rancheros brings a top-shelf dining experience to you with the opening of their beautiful new building. Watch all college and pro games on Los Rancheros' 14 large-screen TVs, with great drink specials daily from 2 to 5, and during all the games. Los Rancheros, the place for live sports and great food, on 23rd Street between Jenks and Harrison.
This is Patrick with Turf Pro Pest Control. Do you want a great-looking lawn? Call Turf Pro. We will come out to your property and make a customized plan for your lawn. Then we will do the most important part, execute that plan. Turf Pro is a locally owned and operated company. We take pride in making your lawn beautiful. Call Turf Pro. You will love your lawn. The blue and yellow trucks make your lawn green. Find us on Facebook at Turf Pro PC.
Hey sports fans, this is Orlando Magic's power forward Jonathan Isaac, and you're listening to Coach James Hale Morning Show live from J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And welcome back to the Coach James Hale Show on a Wednesday. Glenn and James, not James Hale, the real James, sitting in the fishbowl. And, of course, joined by Dr. John Ward again. Doc, look, skin cancer can be deadly. It's that time of season. We're all getting out in the sun. How can we protect ourselves and not become a statistic?
So the best thing you can do is wear your sunscreen if you're outside, especially from 10 to 2 when the UV index is high. Wear protective clothing so that if you missed an area, clothing is better than sunscreen. When you get in the water and towel off, you got to reapply your sunscreen. Don't forget, or you'll get burned. And then if you do see a spot that doesn't look right or feel right, won't heal, don't wait. Get it checked out. All it takes is 5 minutes to get checked head to toe to make sure your skin is healthy and cancer-free. You can call us at 233-3376. See us at one of our 8 area convenient locations in Port St. Joe, Panama City Beach, Watersound, Santa Rosa Beach, the Phoenix Springs, Bonifay, or Mariana. Wow. Please don't wait. Get it checked out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We had a text in from Coach Moon, the Georgia guy, Georgia expert.
That's right.
He said 2 years ago Tennessee was the CFB #1 team. Georgia was the AP #1. So they were in there and 2 years ago for a week at least.
That's right. See, we got to get Coach Moon in here. We got to raise the IQ of the show.
We do. So,
But no, that I had forgotten that it was that recently, but it was like a 1 week thing, like one of the first polls, I think, where Tennessee was up on top. So, yeah. How quickly time flies when I'm blocking out bad Tennessee thoughts.
There you go.
But anyway. All right, Doc. So Mommy and Daddy are fighting again. The Big Ten and the SEC just cannot come together on thoughts on the future of the college football playoff here. The SEC has preferred a 16-team expansion, if you will. The Big Ten seems pretty bought in on the 24-team college football playoff model. We're all just going the way of basketball, where we'll end up with 327 teams or whatever the heck they have now. Doc, your thoughts on this, and which would you prefer, a 12 where we are now, a 16, or ultimately a 24 like the Big Ten wants?
So, I think, the SEC has the right mindset. If we're going to expand, go to 16 teams. I mean, look at the 12. Really, after Miami, who didn't get in, or Miami did get in this year. That's
yeah.
right.
Notre Dame did not.
So I mean, it was Notre Dame. Yeah, Notre Dame was really the only team that was controversial about not getting in. I mean, once you go beyond 16 teams, you're going to have four lost teams frequently getting into the playoffs, and what are we even talking about? Why would you want a team that lost 4 regular season games in the college football playoff? It makes no sense. It will make the regular season completely meaningless. So I mean, I get that the Big Ten wants to get more of their teams in so they get more revenue, but the regular season has to mean something.
Yeah, no, I agree. And football's different than basketball. Basketball, they can play 2-3 games a week, and they do in the NCAA tournament. They'll play 2 games, each week. With football, you got to spread it out. Now, you don't need to spread it out the way they're doing now, where I think they play 1 game every 12 days or something. I wish they would consolidate that. Here's what I would do, Doc. I'm curious your thoughts on this. I actually would keep it at 12. I think 12 is a good number. The one change I would like to see made, I would like to see that second round of games where 1, 2, 3, and 4 host. I would like to see those on campus as well. I like the fact that the first round is on campus. I'd like to see 1 through 4 host on campus. Maybe they wouldn't be 1 and 7 in those games if they hosted. And then you go once you get to the semis, and then you get into a couple of bowl games. I don't think we need to bring in as many as they do.
No, I totally agree. I think the semifinals is where you have neutral sites, and before that, it's hosted at home by the higher seed.
No, but makes too much sense. There's no chance we would go to that. Here was a thought that I saw kind of running through, because as it relates to this is, and look, it depends on your ideological bent of what you're looking for with classifications and this, that, or the other. We obviously have a lot of that separation at the high school level. The NCAA level, it's Division I, II, and III basically, and there's not a whole lot of football played once you get past D2. There is some. I mean, Division III football is fine, but it's not a ton of schools. More in basketball. But what about the thoughts of less about maybe breaking up or making the playoffs so big, but creating more divisions, maybe having like a 32 or a 64-team Division I Super League, if you will? What are your thoughts on kind of fragmenting the leagues like that?
Well, while that could work okay in football, I don't like going that direction in other sports, because look at what the larger conferences have already done to like basketball and baseball. You can have 2 teams from the same league, and one team has played a gauntlet of a schedule because they got all of the harder teams on their schedule, and another team can have a better or same record but not be nearly as good because they drew all the easy teams. So, I caution the idea of doing it because, while it could work for football, these unbalanced conference schedules aren't really doing great things for basketball and baseball.
All right, we don't have enough time really, but we're going to try speed round anyway. If we were going to create a 16-team Super League, factor everything, tradition, TV market, great football, power, everything. What you're looking, we're going to create a 16-team Super League. What are the 16 teams we want in it, Doc? Go.
Well, you want to get the premier team from each of the various regions or states, and you'd only consider a second team from the same state if you've got extra spots. So, in Florida, you're clearly taking the University of Florida. In Georgia, you're clearly taking Georgia. In Alabama, you're taking Alabama. So in South Carolina, you're probably taking Clemson. In North Carolina, you're probably taking UNC. In Tennessee, you're taking Tennessee.
Boo.
You're probably wanting to get Penn State because of, they're kind of the premier program in the Northeast. You're taking Ohio State out of Ohio and Michigan out of Michigan.
Yeah.
You're taking Oregon to get some West Coast alignment. You're taking probably USC out of there. Out of Texas, you're taking Texas. I know A&M would be pissed off about that, but you're taking Texas.
That's all right.
Premier program. You're probably taking Oklahoma.
Okay.
So you're up to 13 teams.
That's right.
Now you've only got 3 teams left.
That's where it gets tough.
Oh, LSU, of course.
LSU,
of course you got to
great.
take LSU. So now you only got 2 teams left.
Yeah.
You know, you might, and you won't like this, Brian, but you probably are skipping Mississippi. You know,
I understand.
It's not that big of a state, but you know. I don't know, man. The last 2, there'd be a lot of.
We're leaving Touchdown Jesus out.
Yeah, we have.
Oh yeah, you got to take Notre Dame.
Do you know how
Yeah,
mad they would be if we left them out?
It'd be
I
perfect.
feel terrible.
Well, that's pretty good speed round, Doc. We got 15 of them knocked out there pretty quick. I don't even know. I mean, let's say Indiana. They just won the national championship. Let's throw them in there just for fun.
Indiana, they got basketball too. Yeah. So I mean, I think Indiana rounds it out. You know, a lot of really good teams and programs are left out though. But you know, that would be the Super League. Yeah.
This is definitely something we need to revisit where we can spend more time on it and get some more fights going on it because. I just don't want Tennessee in there just for obvious reasons. But very cool. Appreciate it as always, Doc. Again, real quick, anybody wants to get up with you about making sure that they prevent themselves getting skin cancer, how can they do so?
Give us a holler at 233-3376. You can see us at one of our 8 area convenient locations in Panama City, Panama City Beach, Port St. Joe, Watersound, Santa Rosa Beach, Defuniak Springs, Bonifay, or Marietta, Florida. 5 minutes, all it takes to get checked head to toe, make sure your skin is healthy and cancer-free.
Doc Ward is the best. Thanks for joining us, Doc. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, y'all have a great day.
All right, very good. That's pretty good. I put him on the spot, and he fired him off quick. That was good.
He didn't even hesitate, did he?
I like it. Very good. I love that he started with Florida. That was
there
fun.
You go. Yep.
Yeah, but that's awesome. All right, when we come back, I got to get into more of our great sponsors here because we've been talking so much, but definitely want to go through them. And look, it's time for the Alabama update.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Can't
Glenn's
wait.
so
Can't
happy.
wait.
You're listening to Coach
Hey,
James Hale
Alabama.
Show.
Are you sick of the old sports talk, the vanilla opinions, the polite debates, the hosts who are afraid to say what they really think? So are we. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is bringing the house. It's the new Sports Blitz. Weekdays 11 to 1. We're not pulling punches. We're digging graves. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Anna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, a likelihood of thunderstorms and some sun, and a high of 85 with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour out of the south. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high around 85. For Friday, some sun and a high of 83. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Your goals matter, and at Anytime Fitness Panama City, they're ready to help you crush them. With expert coaching, personal training, and virtual workouts through the Anytime Fitness app, you'll have all the support you need inside the club and beyond. Limited time only. Join today for just $1 down and start your fitness journey now. Don't wait. Visit 107 West 23rd Street, Suite W8, or call 850-818-8184. Anytime Fitness. Let's make healthy happen.
WGSX Haven, WVLQ Port St. Joe, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Get ready to connect. ESPN Northwest Florida is proud to welcome and feature the newest additions to our Panama City Beach Chamber family.
Welcome to the Beach Chamber. Lux Coastal Realty, Judy Gibbons. Optimo Horizon, coming soon. Pretty Neat Organizing and Home Staging. The Oasis at Sea Haven. And VSC Fire and Security.
Step in, grow, and connect with the community that celebrates your achievements.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
And the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce, reaching Bay County and beyond.
Want to know the inside scoop on your favorite teams? From the gridiron to the hardwood to the diamond. For comprehensive sports coverage, it's ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
This is for you, Glenn.
Stand up, Glenn. Hand over your heart.
Facing Nick Saban.
Facing Nick Saban. With your houndstooth hat on.
There you go. That snaggletooth.
Yay, Alabama, Crimson Tide. I'll just sing the whole thing. That'd be a good way to get people to wreck. Alabama Update is brought to you every single week. Glenn would love that. Every single day on the Take two.
Judy,
Alabama Update is brought to you.
Judy Tenuta used to say, it can happen.
Substitute teacher here, folks. But thanks to Steverson Air Conditioning for sponsoring the Alabama Update here every single day on the Coach James Hale Show. Steverson Air Conditioning, they are number one. Look, make sure, don't get into the dog days of June and July and have your AC go out on you. Get the fine folks at Steverson out to service it. Make sure it's running tip-top shape. Because the last thing you want to do, and I can say this from personal experience, is come home from a road trip and see a 91 on your little read out there because your AC has gone out. That is not a lot of fun. Steverson Air Conditioning, they are number one. Also, because I have been talking too much and missed out, I want to go through some of our other sponsors here on the Coach James Hale Show. Peppers Mexican Grill. We've always known about the one there in town, but now we've got one out on the beach over by Arnold High School. They have wonderful drink specials, lunch specials, great food, and great staff. Pepper's Mexican Grill. And my buddy Steve over there at Steve's Bike Shop, he's been in business since 1979. Also the swim coach there at Mosley High School, and does a wonderful job. New bikes, electric bikes, they can fix them. He does an absolutely outstanding job right there on 23rd Street across from Sam's. And Steve's going to be in here with us tomorrow talking about bikes, talking about swimming, talking about everything. That is Steve's Bike Shop. Well, let's get into some Alabama update. Just a couple of things really to get through here. William Jennings is currently in a first-place tie at 12 under par. Now, Alabama is out at the Marana, Arizona Regional for NCAA golf. I think it's being hosted by the University of Arizona. Oklahoma State is the one seed out there. Ironically, while Jennings sits in a tie in the individual at 12 under, Alabama as a team sits at 12 under as well. So Jennings, you can truly say, is carrying the tide out at this. But Alabama sits in 6th place currently going in the 3rd round. Only 5 teams advance from the regional, so they're going to need to get it going just a little bit here to make sure. I believe Duke is 1 shot ahead of them, I think, sitting in 5th. So Alabama with a chance to move on through there, but certainly William Jennings looking like he could move on in the individual because he is playing some outstanding, outstanding golf. Some awards have come out as it relates to the outdoor track and field championships that the SEC hosted recently. Alabama actually finished runner-up in that, and 3 Alabama athletes were named to first team All-SEC. I'm going to butcher these names, so you should read them fast. But Karen Kiplagat, I believe, distance runner there. Doris Lemgol, another distance runner. And then Samuel Ogazi, who I believe runs the 400, which for me is distance, but certainly not.
To the mailbox and back's difference.
The only time I run is when my remote-controlled batteries went out. But yeah, they've all been named to first team All-SEC for track. So absolutely congratulations to them on that. Alabama baseball, as we talked about there with Dr. Ward, they are awaiting the winner of the Florida and Vanderbilt game, which will be held today there in Hoover. What was kind of interesting, though, Alabama's had a wonderful year this year, currently projected to be a host of a regional and potentially super regional. Baseball America has them slotted in the 7 spot right now. So you would think, well, if you're, around that number 7 in the country range, you got to have a bunch of top-notch players who've done it for you. Glenn, trivia question for you.
Okay.
And look, they don't hold it down. They give 2 second basemen, 2 third basemen, a bunch of pitchers like this. So it's not just 9. First team All-SEC, how many players does Alabama have on first team All-SEC?
2.
James?
Let's go with 8.
8. Alabama has 0 first team All-SEC. Shocking to me because they have a lot of great players, but did not pick up a single first team All-SEC player. Now, they did pick up some on the second team. DH utility player Brady Neal was second team All-SEC, and then starting pitcher Tyler Fay also was named to it. But amazing, a team that's going to be top 10 in the country, possibly host a super regional in the SEC. 2 players make the second team and none on the first team. Really surprised by that.
Wow.
Because they've got a lot of players projected high in the draft and things like that, but I guess it's just probably a testament, a lot of it, to the SEC itself and how good it's been this year. But currently 12 teams projected from the SEC to make the NCAA regionals. I think they have 7 hosting. And amazingly enough, 2 of the schools not currently projected to make the NCAA field, and I don't think are going to make it. LSU, defending national champs, and Vanderbilt, who's won multiple. And I don't think either have a shot of making it because they'd have to run the table, and I don't see them doing that.
They could do it, but they got to win every single game, and pretty handedly, I'd even say. Now, if you win the tournament, you're automatically in.
That's right.
But if they get to the championship game and they have nice scores going through, maybe because of history, you're going to see people say, "Oh, they've had Mookie Betts, they've had that run where they had 3 in a row." But no, nah.
Yeah, no, it's pretty amazing, honestly, when you think about it. I mean, that you wouldn't have just one guy standing out like that, but it's probably a testament to the good team baseball that they've played all this year. That you don't have that one star that you're leaning on this side or the other, but. I'd be using that. If I were the coach, I'd put that up there. Well, they don't believe in you, kind of thing like that. I give you an example. All right, so, some other players like this. Obviously Georgia has got several because they are, they were the regular season champion like that. Ole Miss, who's sitting way down there, probably won't host a regional. They have a player on the first team. Kentucky, who was actually 13th in the SEC. Now, they're projected to be a 3 seed in a regional. They're projected to make it. They have their shortstop, Tyler Bell, first team. So, there's schools down the line that got some players on the first team that, obviously not playing as good as Alabama. Vandy had a player on the second team. LSU did as well. LSU had 2 on the second team, so as many as Alabama. How about that? Crazy, crazy, crazy.
I know. You never know how they're going to choose what. Here we go, the body of work, man.
Unbelievable. Well, looking at the baseball, like I said, the projections there right now, they have Alabama. Baseball America has Alabama projected as the 7 seed, hosting the Tuscaloosa Regional. Now, this is not good if you're Alabama, because look who the number 2 seed would be. Coastal Carolina, who played the national championship game a year ago against LSU.
Lost their head coach, though.
They did, but they've been pretty solid all year. They're currently sitting as the number 26 national seed. To me, they're one of the tougher 2 seeds I see out there. So that's kind of a rough draw, so hopefully for them that'll play out. Let's stay in the Carolinas. The number 3 seed, NC State from the ACC. Pretty rich baseball history there as well. And then just to bring the GPA of Tuscaloosa up, we're going to bring Yale in from the Ivy League to be the 4th seed.
Yay.
But right now, and I'm going to tie this into Glenn here, if Alabama were to move on and the number 10 seed projected were to move on, that would mean Florida State, because that's who Baseball America has as the 10, coming to Alabama for a super regional there.
Ooh.
And Glenn, you know what that means? We could actually go.
Yeah,
it's reasonably close.
It is. We could.
What do you think about that? Think FSU takes care of the Tide?
We'll have to see.
They don't even have an All-SEC player.
Well, we don't. I haven't seen anything on ACC yet, other than they named the pitcher of the year, which would be Mendez from FSU, Wes Mendez. But we'll see. Well, I'd rather take some of the softball players and see what's going. But no, anyway, I think it'd be good. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it would be. So it'd be something we could actually go to.
Absolutely. I mean, look at this for this area. I mean, this is perfect for the Coach James Hale show. Number 6 seed is Auburn. They would be hosting. We have an Auburn segment coming up. Alabama, the 7. Texas A&M. All right, we have a few fans of theirs. At number 9, Florida would be hosting. We just talked to Doc Ward. We're going to talk to Mark McLeod. Number 10, FSU. Guess who the number 11 seed would be?
Mississippi State. I mean, Southern Miss.
That's right. We just talked about Yale. We got to talk about the Harvard of the South.
There we go.
Southern Miss, the 11, and Mississippi State would be the 13.
Wow.
So we've got all of our bases covered here. And Conrad, I'll throw this for you. Georgia currently slotted as the number 3 national seed. So they would be there. Richard Sanders, Georgia Tech, the number 2 national seed, and then UCLA, well, nobody cares about them, so we'll just leave them off. But obviously, looking forward to a lot of baseball. Of course, SEC baseball in Hoover already getting moving. I hate that none of us could go this year, but boy, that's a great time up there. And I know it's hard. James, I think we've talked about this before. Glenn, I know we have. It's really hard because you've got 12 teams projected to go into the regionals, and a bunch of them are locks. So the SEC tournament kind of seems meaningless. You don't want to use up all your arms. By the same token, you'd like momentum going in the NCAA tournament, wouldn't you think?
And you're also doing one thing they are doing now, which is a benefit, is they're going down to the one game now.
That's true.
You could possibly only play one game, but if you're only playing one game, your chances of going on diminish, even though you are in a great conference. Because if you come in and just get walloped by, Vanderbilt, it doesn't look good. Now, Florida, if they lose to Vanderbilt, still going to make the tournament. I truly believe.
That's right.
They're probably not going to host at that point.
Yeah. The only one I was a little bit worried about was Kentucky losing first round, which they did, but I still think they're pretty locked in.
I think they're going to get locked in, but it really depends on if there's somebody that makes a magic run.
Bubble
out of
busters.
The 12 or the
That's
ACC or something like that. It's possible.
Absolutely right. Want to thank Steverson Air Conditioning for the Alabama update today. Also want to talk about Patrick Garner and the crew at Turf Pro Pest Control.
Absolutely.
They do an absolutely wonderful, wonderful job to make sure that your lawn is the talk of the neighborhood for all the right reasons. Not because you've been out there hitting golf shots and taking divots out of it.
And shattering windows.
That's right. But Patrick and the crew do absolutely wonderful job making sure all the unwanted critters and pests are out of your lawn, and they can do the same for you. Make sure you call them at Turf Pro Pest Control. And good buddy Jason over at Max Fit Sports Nutrition. Haven't been able to talk about him yet, but good gracious, you want to look better, you want to feel better. If you're an athlete, wants to get bigger, stronger, faster, you need to go see Jason and his staff at Max Fit. They are so knowledgeable on all of these products that can help you in so many ways. And what's great, Glenn, you can try it before you buy it. 2 convenient area locations. If you're out on the beach, Pier Park North, next to Dick's Sporting Goods. And if you're in town, 23rd Street in the Del Coronado Village, right there next to Granny's. Jason Kovaleski and Max Fit Sports Nutrition. We get back. Little Auburn, little FSU, little everything. You're listening to Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey, this is Richard
and Connie from Fountain.
Real local winners.
And we just won a $25 gift card to Ferrucci's Ristorante in the Ferrucci Feast, just for listening to the Coach James Hale Morning Show.
Thanks, y'all. Sound like a bunch of rednecks.
Keep listening to Win on the Gulf Coast. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Anna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, a likelihood of thunderstorms and some sun, and a high of 85 with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour out of the south. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high around 85. For Friday, some sun and a high of 83. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Do you bathroom map your city? Know exactly where the restroom is in every store just in case you have a sudden urge? Stop mapping and start living. It's time to meet Emsella. Emsella is an FDA-approved chair that uses electromagnetic energy to strengthen your pelvic floor. One 28-minute session is equivalent to 12,000 Kegels, and 95% of patients report a better quality of life. Call Thrive Alternative Medicine, 850-655-7090, 850-655-7090 for the Emsella chair.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Are you tired of little radio stations with little signals that drop off at the edge of town?
He did say.
Oh, bless their hearts. This is the most powerful sports signal in the Panhandle. You found the Sports Talk monster. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Whoa! Eagle! Hey! Auburn update brought to you here on the Coach James Hale Show by Beef O'Brady's up there in Lynn Haven. Absolutely wonderful crew, wonderful food, TVs everywhere. We love Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Make sure you get out there today. They got a great wing special today that you definitely want to be a part of. And if you can, you can watch the SEC baseball tournament out there. Absolutely
Starts
right.
at 9:30.
9:30. Good gracious, that's perfect. It's all day of baseball. Well, I was mentioning that Alabama couldn't get anybody on the first team of the All SEC, but Auburn did. They got one. Chris Rembert, second baseman, made All SEC first team, so congratulations to him. And then first baseman Ethan Benjamin, spells it I-N. It's the first I've ever seen that. That or somebody at Saturdays Down South got fat fingers. And so he's on second team, and then relief pitcher Jackson Sanders also made the second team. So Auburn, of course, had a great year. They're currently slotted as the 6th seed, going to host a regional there. And looks like they're pretty locked into being one of the top 8, which would then potentially host a super regional. So that's what's going on with Auburn. Now let's head over to Tallytown there, Glenn. Let's talk about what's going with FSU.
All right. Let me tell you, we'll start with softball, even though they did lose last weekend. But they have 4 All-Americans named. And, of course, Issa Torres is number 1 on the first team. She was the ACC Player of the Year and the Defensive Player of the Year, and also she holds the NCAA record for 16 straight hits. And so, wow, congratulations to her. She ended up batting a little bit lower than we thought, 530. So, bless her heart.
That's awful.
It is terrible,
awful.
But it was good enough for third place. But you know what? But on the second team, we have the pitcher Jazzy Francis, who is also the pitcher of the year in the ACC. But she was also voted the MVP of the ACC tournament. So, congratulations to her. And then also on the second team is Ashton Danley. She played outfield a lot this year, but she's also the pitcher. So, congratulations to her. And then Jasoni Beecham, the third baseman. She made second team All-American. Yep. She is the third baseman, and she was been an All-American as a freshman All-American of the Year. So she has really good thing too, and she's like third in FSU history for being on base. 49 times 49 games she was on base. So interesting. And we get a little bit of football before I get into the baseball. Football, finally, we have a 2027 quarterback commit. So, and of course he hasn't signed yet, but anyway, he's only
soon to be replaced by a transfer.
Yep, that was one of the things they brought up. So, Logan Flaherty, he is at Port Charlotte, 6'2", 200 pounds, 3-star, but they think he'll move up to a 4-star.
Excellent.
He passed for 2,637 yards and 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He ran for 595 yards and 11 touchdowns. Now, that 11 touchdowns could be a little deceiving on any quarterback because did you quarterback sneak it?
Yeah.
But nowadays, they don't do that anymore. You got to be 5 yards deep in the ends, away from the line of scrimmage. So that really tears me up when what's wrong with the old quarterback sneak? They got it, Anyway. And also, they said that the quarterback question was not the thing that you really need to worry about. They really were worried about the front 7 on defense.
Okay.
So they said that we have to make people only have shorter drives. We got to get off the field on third down a lot more, and also they improve the turnover margin. We're 103rd in NCAA in turnover margin.
Good gracious!
So we were 1 turnover margin away from being the last. So there's always somebody you can go, hey, well, what about those people that
Yeah.
In baseball, this is going to be today. It's going to be the second round, and Florida State doesn't play till Thursday, but. Last night, number 16 Duke had 21. Number 10 North Carolina State 12. We just talked about they may be in it, but that was football. Mm-hmm. Number 12 Stanford 11. Carolina number 13 California 4. It was Notre Dame number 10 Notre Dame 5. Number 15 Clemson 4. It was number 14 Pitt 16. And number 11, Louisville, 8. So now Duke will play number 8, Virginia today. Stanford will play number 5, Miami. Notre Dame will play number 7, Virginia Tech. And Pitt will play number 4, number 5, Wake Forest. Here's the thing. The winner of the Virginia Duke game will play on Friday. They will play Georgia Tech. The winner of the Stanford-Miami game will play Boston College, they're number 4. Mm-hmm. And Notre Dame, Virginia Tech winner will play North Carolina, and Pitt and the Wake Forest winner will play FSU. All those will be taking place on Friday. So what happens today turns out Friday, and then Saturday they have 2 games, and then Sunday the championship. So
how about a little kudos Boston College for being the 4 seed up there? They probably don't get to play at home until end of March.
I know. It was really close. It was Boston College, FSU, Miami. They were right in that number 4 region, but because we beat Miami 2 out of 3, mm-hmm. and then so we got to sneak into number 3. So can't complain about that.
And we talked about it earlier. One of the perennial powers in the ACC baseball has been Clemson, and right now they're listed as not making the NCAA tournament field. That's unheard of.
Yeah, they were ranked 15th in the ACC and going into the tournament, and they got beat 5-4 by Notre Dame. So, and what was this? North Carolina State was like number 10, and they got beat by number 16 Duke. So, we may be cannibalizing each other, but ACC and SEC have really been the 2 strong conferences.
Oh, yeah. I think NC State's projected to make the field. The ACC is going to get 10 or 11. Right now, the SEC looks like they're getting 12. Not the most they've ever gotten. I think a year ago they got 13.
Right.
Yeah.
But, it's amazing to think we could have an NCAA field, given what the last decades look like, without Clemson, without LSU, without Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It is.
That's blue buds. That's like saying Duke, Kentucky, and North Carolina didn't make the basketball tournament.
Right, but in a weird way, the LSU wouldn't make sense in this regard. Mississippi State won the national championship in 2021. Next year, didn't even make the SEC tournament. At least now you have to make that. The next year, Ole Miss just ruined me by only giving me 1 year of bragging rights. They won the national championship. Guess what happened to them the next year? They also missed the conference and the NCAA tournament. So it's a little more, heard of there with a national champion, but just having 3 power teams like that, it's a crazy year, but I think it also speaks to the fact that more and more schools are putting more and more resources into baseball.
And I think baseball's just getting better too, because I think more kids, when they get drafted out of high school now, they get drafted in the 900th round of the Major League Baseball draft.
Right.
They look at it and go, well, I can make $20,000 playing in the Arizona League, or I can go pitch at LSU for $100,000.
That's right.
What are you going to do? You're going to go pitch at LSU for $100,000.
Well, and the thing about that, and we've talked about it, is if you're getting money somewhat equivalent or maybe better money in college, the support structure around you is significantly better than you would get in the minor leagues.
Absolutely.
I mean, think about the medical, the tutor, just everything around you. The facilities are better at the big schools. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me now that unless you're like a first-round, big money, fast-track kind of thing.
Yeah, unless you're going to start in like high A ball or double A ball, do you really want to go play in the Arizona League or in the Florida Summer League when you could go to a pretty good college? Because, I mean, if you're that good, you're not going to end up at like Wyoming State Community College.
That's right.
You're good enough to be at an Arkansas. You're good enough to be at Kentucky. You're good enough to be at one of those places that you'll get at least some kind of, a paycheck, and you'll be getting a scholarship. I mean, put those two together, way more valuable than that.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to Florida State and be involved around all of that and the facilities and the support structure and the money and all of that, and be in Florida. Or you could go play for the Toledo Mud Hens.
Yeah.
Nothing against Toledo.
Nothing against
come on. Or Butte, Montana, or wherever else you're going to end up with.
In
one
the
of
old
these.
Pioneer League out there, yes.
I know. 2-egg Florida. They got.
There you go. There you go. Is that what you got?
That's what I got right now.
All
But,
right.
the other thing, too, is we talked about, and we mentioned this about, if you're going to be a quarterback at Florida State, man, you got to watch out for the transfer portal, because even when they bring you in, so.
That's got to eventually become a issue. If it's not already an issue.
The fact that we're talking about it, we can't be the only ones.
No, other people got to see it. I mean, those kids are definitely seeing it, because those kids, yes, they want to get their NIL, but they also want to play the game too,
right?
Because that's the only way they're going to advance. I mean, it's great to get an NIL. I got $50,000 to hold a clipboard. Well, if you get $50,000 a year to hold a clipboard for 4 years, how much football did you play?
Yeah, that's right. I did want to add this quickly. I missed it earlier. Auburn will be hosting LSU in the SEC tournament tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. our time. LSU got past Oklahoma. Auburn currently sitting as a 6th seed in the SEC tournament. And, again, they will play LSU tonight to try and put the final nail in the LSU coffin for this season. So we'll have to see about
Coach
that.
Coach Norman won't be happy about
No, he won't. But got to thank, again, Newbies and all the Newbies properties. We got 4 of them now, and that's not just because you've drank yourself cross-eyed, but we actually have 4 of them now. We got the Mothership. We got Newbies 2 on the curb. That'd be a great place to go watch the SEC baseball tournament.
Would be,
there.
absolutely.
The Brew and Booze, which used to be our favorite, but now
I have to go with the Blue Building on Bayview Avenue.
That's right. It's easier to stumble home from
is.
there. So.
Well, you can get picked up for drunk walking. I found that.
Yeah.
And not by a cab either. It's by the police. So.
Well, the problem is, when you're thinking walk that straight line, but it's in the middle of the road, you can't do
That's
that.
That's true. That's the only line I can follow.
It's just yellow and shiny. I had to say it.
That's right. Follow the yellow brick line.
But we do love Newbies and all of the fun that you can have there. John and Charlotte do so much for this area as well. So get out, have a great time at Newbies, any of the 4 great Newbies, and thank them for their sponsorship of the FSU Update. When we get back, we're going to talk to the local boy made good, Mark McLeod, talk a little Florida Gator everything. You're listening to Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Memorial Day, 104.3 ESPN ESPN Northwest Florida honors our local heroes. From Port St. Joe, Sergeant Clifford Sims, United States Army, made the ultimate sacrifice. While in heavy combat in Vietnam, company leader Sergeant Sims threw himself on top of an enemy explosive device in order to save the soldiers of Company D. Thank you for your service and great sacrifice. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Meta World Peace, what's up, man?
Nah, that's not my name anymore, thanks to Hard Rock Bet.
We're doing this again, are we?
Now I go by Meta, over rebounds, under assists, method of first basket, free throw, Peace.
Huh, so you really can same-game parlay practically anything now on Hard Rock Bet.
It's the only place I play these days.
Download the Hard Rock Bet app and start playing today. Hard Rock Bet, roll with us.
Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they'll get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
Do you know who I am?
If he was the last person on Earth,
I'm kind of a big deal.
mankind would still have a chance.
We may have to repopulate the Earth.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm very important.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Go Gators! We love hearing that fight song here on a Wednesday because that means we get to talk to our good buddy Mark McLeod. Mark, how are we doing on a wonderful Wednesday morning?
Hey, doing well, guys. Good morning to you.
All right. Well, since I'm in charge today, Mark, we're starting with baseball. We're going to talk a little Florida baseball here.
Sounds good.
There we go. I like it. So Florida, the 5 seed in the SEC tournament, they've ended up now. We're going to play Vanderbilt today. Vandy keeping the slimmest of slim hopes alive by getting past Kentucky in the first round, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. You know, we've talked about it kind of sporadically all year, Mark, and that looking ahead, seeing LSU on the schedule in Baton Rouge at the end of the year was not something you'd normally look forward to, but not a typical LSU year. Florida goes down and gets the sweep. They've won their last 3 SEC series. And as much as we've said this is a Jekyll Hyde team, and they have been, Florida seems to be peaking at the right time, wouldn't you say?
You know, maybe so. Maybe so. And really, there's a couple different things I would kind of throw in your way as maybe that's what it is. Number one is Liam Peterson.
Yeah.
You know, last 2 weeks we have seen, yes, exactly. We have seen the guy that was a preseason All-American. Yeah. He goes 7.1 innings 2 weeks ago. Last weekend against LSU in Baton Rouge, he goes a complete game. So, you know, he's pitching awfully well right now, and that's huge. Obviously, you know, when you talk about Florida pitching, Aiden King receiving the SEC Pitcher of the Year award, that was a big one because you didn't know if it was going to come down to him or a different Texas. So that was going to be an interesting move there, Brian. But also, I would say this, Brian, to your point. In recent, I'll go back 2.5 weeks, you've seen different guys step up for Florida. You know, we've seen Caden McDonald have a huge series. With one game was just monster, and the next game was really good too. Both working on the mound and hitting. We saw Hayden Yost last weekend really come through for Florida and do some nice things. We saw Kate Curlin with his first game in ages where he's had 2 home runs in a single game. He's really struggled with the plate a bit. Kyle Jones picked him up a couple weeks ago in a game. Blake Sear picked him up Serwick, also Ethan, really had a big game last weekend as well. So, you've seen over the past 10 games or so where different guys are picking up Florida. And that's usually a good sign with the team starting to come together. Because, look, this is not this team is not a juggernaut offensively. They're hitting 273. They pitched really well overall, but they've had these games where the bullpen has just lost it, or the starters come out and has not had it, not been able to go past two in the third innings, or maybe 3.1 innings, and then they're having to turn to the bullpen. So for the Jekyll Hyde stuff we were talking about earlier, that's kind of it. And then this is not the best fielding team Kevin O'Sullivan has had. Typically, they're around 278 to 280. Right now, this team's, I believe, right now 270. So, yeah, you're starting to see some things come together. Is it going to be enough? What they really need, look, this is going to be a great game, a fun game, because Kevin O'Sullivan and Tim Corbin are best friends. They're in each other's weddings, and so these guys know each other very well. And it'll be an interesting game, but Florida needs to pick up a couple wins in Hoover. That would really bode well for them hosting.
Yeah, and one of the things we're looking at, we had talked about it earlier, the fact that today the final nail could be driven into the coffins of Vanderbilt and LSU not making the NCAA tournament, which is crazy to even consider. But, yeah, that's where we are in current baseball. But to your point about Florida is trying, they're going to host a regional. There's no doubt of that. But what they're trying to do is get into that top 8 to where you would potentially host the super regional as well. And depending on which sites you look at, they're projected anywhere from maybe 7 or 8 to 9 or 10. I know Baseball America has them at a 9. How far do you think they need to get to the title game to maybe solidify that top 8, or do you think, it's hard to say. Obviously, other things have to happen, but what are you looking at there?
Yeah, you're right. Other things have to happen. You've got to watch with these other tournaments, what's happening in them with these teams as well that are right in that mix with the Gators. But, yeah, I think the best-case scenario, you need to get to that final. Yeah. You need to win a couple games if you're Florida. Now, for everybody saying, well, how could Florida even be considered a top 8 seed? Well, you go and you look. If the committee's looking at strength of schedule, if the committee's looking at your body of work, and I know that rubs raw with FSU fans.
Yeah,
it's Glenn Manley's favorite word.
It drives me crazy.
But look at Florida's body of work against ranked opponents. It is one of the top 5 in the nation.
Yeah.
And Florida has beaten these guys, and then Florida will turn around and lose to Jacksonville, who was one game above 500. So these are things that happen. But the committee does give you a little grace over midweek losses.
Yes.
Just a little. They don't give you a whole lot, but they do give you a little, realizing you're pitching freshman, redshirt freshman, maybe a sophomore here or there, maybe a guy coming off an injury here or there. So, I think those things, everybody needs to keep that in mind. But for us in the media, we keep an eye on what's going on in these other tournaments with teams that we know are vying for one of those top 8 spots as well.
Well, and ironically, when you get to the log jam after because the top 5 to me are locked. You can shuffle them within themselves, but they're locked. But when you get 6, I'm looking at Baseball America, so I'm going to go off that. 6 is Auburn, 7 is Alabama, 8 is A&M, 9 is Florida. So at least the one that we can look at the same tournament to get a sense of who might shuffle around. Mark, I have to ask you this because it surprised me a little bit. So the all-SEC first and second teams were released. And as you mentioned, Aiden King, SEC Pitcher of the Year, I think well-deserved, obviously made the first team. Florida's the number 5 team in the SEC in terms of the tournament ranking. They're potentially going to host a super regional. Florida had 1 player make either first or second team, and that was Aiden King. And they don't just take 9, they take 18 on both of those teams. Was that a surprise to you that Florida only got 1 out of, let's say, the top 36 players in the conference?
When I looked at that overall, I thought, well, Florida should probably have 1 more guy in there. Mm-hmm. And then I got thinking, who's that guy?
Who would it be?
Besides Lawson, who's had a terrific year overall, who would that guy be?
Yeah.
that's a tough one. It really is, because you look at a couple other, Kyle Jones, good batting average, but 5 home runs on the year.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't stolen a lot of bases. He has, there's just not a lot there. And then with some of the other guys, there's actually 2 other guys, Sherwick, and yes, he has 10 home runs on the year, hitting 318, 320, somewhere around there. But there's quite a few errors playing third base. So for Florida, I looked at that, Brian, and I thought, okay, I can justify this, because just as we talked about, this is a strange year for Florida. You just don't have guys crushing the ball out of the ballpark. Caglione is gone.
Wyatt Langford's gone, yes. That's
right.
right.
I was going to say Langford's gone too. So, yeah, they don't have that guy. So I guess from that perspective it makes sense, because you look at Georgia, Texas A&M, some of those, one or two of those other teams really had strong years.
Yeah, they did. And that was what was interesting to me, because, of course, Alabama awaits the winner of the Florida-Vanderbilt game here. Alabama at the 4 seed. Alabama had no one on the first team and only 2 on the second team. So between the 4 and 5 seeds in the conference, they only got 3 players on it. Kind of maybe just goes to what a good team effort it was. They weren't just kind of relying on top-end talent here or there, but the teams actually played pretty well. So interesting season, certainly, and by no means over. And that I know you don't like to look ahead. I don't either, because you never want to look ahead of a Vanderbilt game. But the Alabama series, not only would you like to win to go on, but because Alabama's in that, right now projected number 7, the winner of that might have a lot to do with who does get that super regional or top 8 seed. You're
right. I mean, Alabama hammered Florida. And, of course, James Hale isn't here. He's at the Big Ten spring meetings, I'm sure, soaking it up with those guys. But yeah, Alabama, they just hammered Florida.
Yeah, they did.
Florida, I know, would love an opportunity to get back at Alabama and do something. And it would probably be Liam Peterson on the hill for the Gators. So that would be a very interesting move there, because Peterson did not pitch well against Alabama. I think that's kind of where you're at, because Alabama has a lot of respect for the committee, I'm sure. I don't think there's any question about that. So that would be, you beat really beating Alabama will definitely score some points for the committee. But then also, if you can get and advance on and make some things happen, that will be that would be big for the Gators, and that's what they need.
Well, and I know early season, I think that was Florida's first road trip of the year, going to Tuscaloosa. The good news for Florida is Alabama will have to drive a whole 30 minutes to get to Hoover. And so it's a road game for them, too. There won't be any Alabama fans there at the Hoover Met.
If they don't stop for some bar.
Yes, that's right. Absolutely right. Well, Mark, we got to head to a break. We're going to hold you over here, and we're going to get into everything else Florida-related.
Softball coming up.
Oh, definitely. But wanted to talk again about our great sponsors. Don't forget, today is J. Michael's Spaghetti Day. Get out there and see them. TK Vandy Roofing and Contracting. Hopefully Kyle will be in here with us on Friday. Look, if you're out in Lynn Haven, go to Beef O'Brady's, get you a great lunch. Go to David Adamson Fine Jewelry, get you a nice piece to keep you out of the doghouse with the missus at home. Don't forget about Peppers. They do a wonderful, wonderful job out here. New one on the beach. And then, of course, we'll have Steve from Steve's Bike Shop joining us in here tomorrow, talking about bikes, talking about swimming, talking about a little bit of everything. When we get back, more with Mark McLeod, more on the Gators, and more on everything. You're listening to the Coach James Hale Show, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Are you tired of little radio stations with little signals that drop off at the edge of town? Oh, bless their hearts. This is the most powerful sports signal in the Panhandle. You've found the Sports Talk Monster. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Anna with ESPN Northwest Florida. Here is your weather forecast on this Wednesday morning. As we head into this afternoon and evening, a likelihood of thunderstorms and some sun, and a high of 85 with a gentle breeze around 10 miles per hour out of the south. For tonight, partly cloudy skies and a low near 74. Tomorrow, partly sunny and a high around 85. For Friday, some sun and a high of 83. This weather forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Get ready to discover new adventures this summer and show off your style in a brand new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Check out the 2026 Kia K5. Its sophisticated design, smart safety features, and impressive fuel efficiency is perfect for your drive every day. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2026 Kia K5 during the Kia Summer Sticker Sales event. Stop by for a test drive and discover the new Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Bill Bird Kia, proud to be the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Movement that inspires.
Offer from Kia Finance America for well-qualified buyers on the purchase of a new 2026 Kia Sorento or Sportage with 2083 per 1,000 financed to 48 months. Cannot be combined with other offers. Quality limited. See dealer for complete details. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 6/126.
He's a beacon of light to many and an inspiration to all.
These men need inspiration.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michaels studio.
They're motivated by Vicodin and Road Skank.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Oh, we're in the club here. Glenn, stop dancing around the pole. Gracious. We are your home for the Atlanta Braves here on ESPN Northwest Florida. And the Bravos, we finally got it righted last night after losing one of the Marlins earlier in the week. Braves coming off, I believe, is an 8-4 victory yesterday.
That is correct.
The Braves take on the Miami Marlins. I still want to call them the Florida Marlins.
They are.
Tonight, 6 p.m., first pitch at 6:15. So make sure you listen to that right after Paul does the sports splits. So back on the line here with Mark McLeod, talking a little Florida sports. And Mark, outside of catching you every Wednesday here on the Coach James Hale Show, how can people listen to you?
SEC Blitz. Today we'll be talking Texas football on the SEC Blitz. Get the lowdown on the Longhorns. A loaded roster, absolutely loaded roster. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Sarkisian to make it to that SEC championship game and win it, and to get a good college football seeding. So looking forward to that. And also on Twitter or X at McLeod Live.
Yeah, right. Make sure and ask him how many of his bought and paid for rosters taking basket weaving. That'll be a question for me.
Or even go to school.
Clown. Anyway, let me get off of that before I get myself in trouble. Glenn, what you got for Mark?
Well, big softball super regional coming up, and you got Texas Tech coming in, so that's the $1 million pitcher coming in, so we'll see what goes on that. But they've been beat quite a few times this year.
Yeah.
They have. It's going to be interesting. See what Florida can do with them. And, it's been a good year for Florida softball. Right? I think they had 4 on the first-team All-SEC squad, 2 on the second team, and 1 on the third. And, of course, Kayla Shoemaker, just a fabulous player, incredible player. And Erickson, Thomas, Callahan, they all made the team. And of course, the key, I think, for Florida, you got to dial in pitching. Keegan Rothrock, she's going to have to be on her game. And,
right.
And she was also a first-team All-SEC pick. She's had a terrific year. But as you said, Coach, man, you got the $1 million baby over there at Texas A&M or Texas Tech, and they've got to if she can. Well, it's time for her to shine now because she hasn't had the year that everybody thought she would have, but it's been awfully good. But it's time for her to shine.
I think her defense has not been as strong as it was in the past, and maybe she hasn't. Whoever pitches second, usually she pitches almost every game, but whoever pitches second has not really come through. So, she may be on the game. She may, they may be. I hate to say it, she may be getting ready at the right time, but I sure would like to see Florida beat somebody when they pay them that much money to play. So,
well, to your point, Coach, Florida defensively is 983. Very good defensive year for Florida, as always. Tim Walton's teams are really good, well coached. Texas Tech, I had to look it up, but they were 970, 972. So they're not performing very well defensively. So to your point, I think you're spot on there.
Nowadays I think the hitting has caught up with the pitching. When they first started, when they came out, most of the players came out of California because they had already started fast pitch, and it took a while to catch up. But now with all the, you can simulate. They can fix the machine. You can simulate all the pitches now, so you don't have to wear somebody's arm out throwing it. They get into cages. They all got big equipment. They go through and watch the pitcher, all the positions. So it's really turned into a great big production there just to go to practice. So it's really fine-tuned the game, which to me, having played it, it's a lot faster and a lot more exciting than baseball, because there's always a defensive thing to keep them off second, and you're always trying to steal and bunt and all that. So I think it's a better game to me. I still like baseball, but I just think this is a better game.
Well, yeah, to your point, you may be right. When I did look up Texas Tech, they were hitting something astronomical, like 390, 388 as a team. I mean, good gracious, are you kidding me? I think Florida's around 355. So, yeah, and Florida's not a bad hitting team at all.
No, they're not.
But, yeah, they're monsters out there in Red Raider country.
Well, Mark, I want to pivot to this in the minutes we got left. We'll get this figured out. But I said it earlier. I said, Mommy and Daddy are fighting again. Tony Petitti came out with the Big Ten and is reiterating his lust for a 24-team playoff. I want to go through his quote here for you, just one of these. When I was at Major League Baseball, we never had to convince anyone that keeping more teams in the race is better for everyone and the fans. We never had to do that. I feel like in this space, we're kind of being asked to do that. So my first question is Tony Petitti a 14-year-old girl? Because he says as often as they do. But beyond
I want to hear Porky Pig pronounce his name. That would just be comical. Yeah.
But obviously there's different schools of thought here. The SEC prefers the 16-team model. I prefer the 12. The Big Ten prefers the 24. Now, we could kind of approach this from two ends, the way we feel about college football in general. But to be fair, if you're looking at it as a Gator fan, because they're playing in the SEC, they're on the build back to hopefully making the playoffs, going to a 24 would make it easier to get in. What are your overall thoughts on this as it relates to playoff expansion in football?
Yeah, I think he's insane to want to go 24. He really is. I mean, hey, Tony, college athletes, student athlete? Does that term ever come up anymore? Big Ten presidents used to throw that out there all the time. ADs, everybody threw that out there, especially at the SEC. But, yeah, you don't hear student athlete anymore. And look, 24 is too much. I'm a 4-8 guy. I think in most years 4 is enough. Okay, you want to go 8, you can go 8, but there's far too much money, and that's what they're looking at. They want more teams in there so they can get more money. And, that's the deal breaker, because Greg Sankey does not want to go 24. SEC coaches do not want to go 24 by and large. There may be one out there who it is. If it is, I don't know who it is. Maybe we'll find out in Destin next week. But yeah, I think it's just ridiculous. This is not professional sports, and I think the fans. look, you're going to get some intriguing matchups, but I think the fans also would like to see some of those early season intriguing matchups when they get to go take a trip to Oregon or take a trip to South Bend or wherever it may be, in these home-and-home series that now most of them have been wiped out because everybody knows the College Football Playoff Committee does not put strength of schedule first, so why would you play those games and just stand a chance to knock yourself right out of contention?
No, absolutely right. I said it earlier. I don't mind 12 at this point. What I would like to see them change is I would like to see the round where 1 through 4 come in. The second round, I would like to see them host those on campus as well. I think it'd a lot less likely you'd be 1-7 the way that they have been. Thank you, Alabama, for being the one loss there. But I also think you don't need to bring all these neutral sites. It's too expensive. It's just do those on campus as well, and that would be better. But, as I say, Mark, they haven't asked me, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. And by the way, guys, next week in Destin, I've been beating the drum, and people are sick of me saying it. The SEC and Big Ten need to break away, do their own thing, because the NCAA is a joke. And when they say they're going to work on something, they may finally get around to it, but it's not what you want. It's not ideal. And then most things they don't even get around to working on. So one of the major agendas, according to Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports, next week in Destin is, what do we do about the NCAA? Do we really need to stay with these guys? Yeah. What's plan B for us? And there are a lot of coaches and ADs, or a few ADs. I've heard from some guys that I've talked to that cover these coaches on a weekly basis and said, no, some of these coaches, they've had it. They would be fine, I think, with breaking away and doing their own thing.
Interesting.
So it's going to be an interesting thing.
Yeah, I'm always looking forward to Destin, and I think that's going to be crazy. The one thing you can be sure of, the surest bet on earth, Lane Kiffin's going to say something that gets us talking next week. That's for sure. Mark, as always, love having you. We'll speak to you next Wednesday, buddy.
Hey, guys, great to be on with you. Thanks a lot.
Yes, sir.
The great Mark McLeod. Absolutely. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And tell you what else I'm looking forward to. Paul Wilson. I guess Jeff will be in here, too, talking about the demise of LSU baseball, but we'll have to wait. That's it for today, and, of course, we got the Bravos and the Marlins tonight, 6 p.m., first pitch, 6:15. You've been listening to the Coach James Hale Show. Thank you, Glenn.
You're welcome.
See you tomorrow.
Wake up with ESPN Northwest Florida. The Coach James Hale Show drags you out of bed weekdays 7 to 9.
They're going to allow